Hello, hello, and welcome to your screencast for your personal and professional development assignment. So this assignment is done via something called PebblePad, and we're going to speak to you a bit more about using PebblePad and Atlas. And it's a webfolio that we're going to be asking you to create from this. So I'm just going to talk you through how to do this. So I'm on your Blackboard site here. So I'll just show you what I've got into. So down here, we've got a link to your PebblePad. So you click on that. You can access it via the web or anywhere, but this is just a quick link that we've done for you. And what you've got here is PebblePad. And what we're going to look at for the assignment is Atlas. So if you click into that, it'll bring up the Atlas site for PPD1. It's just redirecting. So this is a bit of a welcome page. What I want you to look at is resources. We've got lots of information here about the assignment and help, marking criteria, examples people have had from the past. If you go right down to the bottom, it says Personal and Professional Development 1. So this is your web, what we call your webfolio. If you click copy, and it asks you there, this asset will be copied to your asset store, and when you see your assets, yes, that's good, that's what we want. Okay. So what I need to do now is that asset at the bottom there has been copied into my assets. So what I need to do now is I need to go back into PebblePad. If you click so this is your learning space now. So Atlas is what you'd call like the classrooms. That's where you get all your resources from, etc. And the Pebble Plus is your own personal learning space. So I'll go to that now. If I click on assets, you saw then it said the assets had been copied, and there it is. So it was modified by me on today's date. So if I click into that, I've then got this webfolio that we've already populated for you. Feel free to change sort of the backdrop. It's really nice when we're marking them to see that people have actually personalised them. So you can change like the backdrop and put pictures in and really make it your own. The first learning outcome is looking at describing the skills required of an occupational therapist and reflection of your development of these. So you're brand new to the course now, and there'll probably be skills definitely that you will coming already with, and there'll be skills that you'll be developing as well. What we want you to think about is think about the things that are really relevant to an occupational therapist. So a skill that you might want to think about within this is the skill of being a reflective practitioner. So somebody who actually reflects and thinks about what they do. And what there you might type here. Let's say feel most important skills. I know you'd write occupational therapist is skill reflective practice. I need to go on to say why, and you might include a bit of evidence why. But what we also want you to do is actually link it to a reflection, or what we'd call an asset. So assets are some things that you might create. Well, we're wanting you to create as you go through the module and through the course. It might be that you write a reflection on a lecture that you've attended, or it might that you summarise what you've taken from that, what you've learned from that. It might be a reflection on an interaction you've had with a colleague or a peer or a tutor. It might be a reflection on speaking out in class, or that fear or worry of speaking out in front of other people. And what you'd do is you'd highlight, so say for instance, I'm saying about reflective practice being important, and I've got an asset that really sort of emphasises that. I'd highlight it, and if you just click link, and then you'll have created some assets, and then you link it to which asset ever one is relevant to the point that you're making. So I'll just pick any here. Obviously it's not relevant what I'm doing, but you would want to make it relevant. Oh, that's not worked. I'll try that again. So link, I'd like to link it to an asset. Select an asset. That one. There we go. So what it's done there, can you see how it's now blue and underlined? That means it's what we call hyperlinked. If I was to preview this, as I'm reading that, if I click into that, it'll take me to what I have just linked it to. And I'll not let you see that because obviously that's a personal one for me. So, but you can see that by highlighting it and linking it, it's then made it hyperlinked into that. So that's what we want you to do throughout the assignment as you're discussing different things. So the next one is identifying the required professional behaviours. So again, you'd write in there a number of different behaviours that you think are required of an occupational therapist and thinking about your development of these. And each, as you're talking through it, you'll be linking them to relevant assets. So what I'm going to just show you, I'll show you in another screencast actually, is a bit more about how to use PebblePad and how to start creating and using these assets. But that is the basis of your webfolio. So you just work through that, work through all the different learning outcomes, and as you go along, link into the different assets that you've created. I would recommend that you have a look at some of the examples that we've put on for you because I think they will be really helpful for this. And I hope you find that useful.